Mr. Sticky. No one knew how Mr. Sticky got in the fish tank. He's very small, Mum said as she peered at the tiny water snail. Just a black dot. He'll grow, said Abby and pulled her pajama bottoms up again before she got into bed. They were always falling down. In the morning, Abby jumped out of bed and went to her fish tank. Jerry, the fat orange goldfish, was dozing inside the stone archway. Jaws was already awake, swimming along the front of the tank with his white tail floating and twitching. It took Abby a while to find Mr. Sticky because he was clinging to the glass near the bottom, right next to the gravel. At school that day, she wrote about the mysterious Mr. Sticky, who was so small you could mistake him for a piece of gravel. Some of the girls in her class said he seemed an ideal pet for her and kept giggling about it. That night, Abby turned on the light to find Mr. Sticky clinging to the very tiniest, waviest tip of the pondweed. It was near the water filter, so he was bobbing about in the air bubbles. "That looks fun," Abby said. She tried to imagine what it must be like to have to hang on to things all day and decided it was probably very tiring. She fed the fish, then lay on her bed and watched them tail each other round and round the archway. When they stopped, Jerry began nibbling at the pondweed with his big pouty lips. He sucked Mr. Sticky into his mouth and then blew him back out again in a stream of water. The snail floated down to the bottom of the tank among the colored gravel. "I think he's grown a bit," Abby told her mother at breakfast the next day. "Just as well if he's going to be gobbled up like that," Mum said, trying to put on her coat and eat toast at the same time. "But I don't want him to get too big or he won't be cute anymore." "Small things are cute, aren't they?" "Yes, they are. But big things can be cute too. Now hurry up, I'm going to miss my train." At school that day, Abby drew an elephant. She needed 2 pieces of expensive paper to do both ends, but the teacher didn't mind because she was pleased with the drawing and wanted it on the wall. They sellotaped them together right across the elephant's middle. In the corner of the picture, Abby wrote her full name, Abigail, and drew tiny snails for the dots on the eyes. The teacher said that was very creative. At the weekend, Abby and her mother cleaned out the tank. "There's a lot of algae on the sides," Mom said. "I'm not sure Mr. Sticky's quite up to the job yet." They scooped the fish out and put them in a bowl while they emptied some of the water. Mr. Sticky stayed out of the way, clinging to the glass while Mum used the special vacuum cleaner to clean the gravel. Abby trimmed the new pieces of pondweed down to size and scrubbed the archway and the filter tube. Mum poured new water into the tank. "Where's Mr. Sticky?" Abby asked. "On the side," Mum said. She was busy concentrating on the water. "Don't worry, I was careful." Abby looked on all sides of the tank. there was no sign of the water snail. He's probably in the gravel then, Mum said. Come on, let's get this finished. I've got work to do. She plopped the fish back in the clean water, where they swam round and round, looking puzzled. That evening, Abby went up to her bedroom to check the tank. The water had settled and looked lovely and clear, but there was no sign of Mr. Sticky. She lay on her bed and did some exercises, stretching out her legs and feet and pointing her toes. Stretching was good for your muscles and made you look tall, a model had said on the TV, and she looked enormous. When Abby had finished, she kneeled down to have another look in the tank, but there was still no sign of Mr. Sticky. She went downstairs. Her mum was in the study, surrounded by papers. She had her glasses on, and her hair was all over the place, where she'd been running her hands through it. She looked impatient when she saw Abby in the doorway, and even more impatient when she heard the bad news. He'll turn up. That was all she said. Now off to bed, Abby. I've got masses of work to catch up on. Abby felt her face go hot and red. It always happened when she was angry or upset. You have hoovered him up, haven't you? She said. You were in such a rush, you hoovered him up. I have not. I was very careful. But he is extremely small. What's wrong with being small? Nothing at all, but it makes things hard to find. Or notice, Abby said and ran from the room. The door to the bedroom opened and Mum's face appeared around the crack. Abby tried to ignore her, but it was hard when she walked over to the bed and sat next to her. She was holding her glasses in her hand. She waved them at Abby. These are my new pair, she said. Extra powerful or snail hunting? She smiled at Abby. Abby tried not to smile back. And I've got a magnifying glass. Abby suddenly remembered and rushed off to find it. They sat beside each other on the floor. On their knees, they shuffled around the tank, peering into the corners among the big pebbles, at the gravel and the pondweed. Aha! Mum suddenly cried. What? Abby moved her magnifying glass to where her mum was pointing. There, tucked in the curve of the archway, perfectly hidden against the dark stone, sat Mr. Sticky. And right next to him was another water snail, even smaller than him. Mrs. Sticky, Abby breathed. But where did she come from? I'm beginning to suspect the pondweed, don't you think? They both laughed and climbed into Abby's bed together, cuddling down under the duvet. It was cozy, but a bit of a squeeze. Budge up, Mum said, giving Abby a push with her bottom. I can't. I'm already on the edge. My goodness, you've grown then. When did that happen? You could have put an elephant in here last time we did this. Abby put her head on her mum's chest and smiled. Mo Macaulay.
Hello children, today we are going to learn about present continuous Yes, you are reading. You are writing. So that is the present. Continuous means what is going on, not finished. The work what is not finished, that is continuous. You are writing. Yes, you are writing first answer, the second answer, not finished still now. The fan is running. Yes, the fan is running means it is not stopped. What your mom is doing? She is cooking. That means she is yet cooking or preparing chapatis. What your brother is doing? He is playing. He has started playing but has not finished. That is our continuous. Continuous means running, not finished. So present continuous tense. There are three helping verbs: am, is, are. Yes, there are three helping verbs: am, is, are. So am is used with I. Am is used with I. I am. Plus we will use here ing. Am plus ing. For what we will use ing? For the verb. Verb what? Yes. So here we will use I am verb plus ing. Example: I am right. Right is the verb. So ing will join and that is writing. I am writing. What you are doing? I am drinking water. I am drinking water. So am is used always with I. Am is always used with I. That is in present continuous tense. There are three helping verbs: am, is, and are. Am, is, are. Am is used with always I. Is used with what? Yes, is used with he, she, and it. Yes. So he, she, it. Now here we will see about is. How to use is. He is the subject. Yes. Am is helping verb. It is called as helping verb. So what it is helping? The verb. This is verb. I is the subject. Am is the helping verb to the verb. He is. What is he doing? He is writing. They are eating. You are eating. Next, I am sleeping. He is sleeping. She is sleeping. It is sleeping. We are sleeping. They are sleeping. You are sleeping. And we can use the names. Ram is sleeping. My brother is sleeping. Kavita is sleeping. Here, nouns and pronouns. Noun and pronoun. Yes, you can use noun and pronoun. I'll give you 1 minute. Make here the sentences own and practice by saying first. First you do by saying, then we will write in a sentences. Okay? Yes, starts. Hello children. Today we are going to learn some grammar points. So here first we have clauses. So do you know what is clause? Okay. Before going to a clause, we will learn about a sentence. What is a sentence? A sentence contains a sentence. Example, I go to school. Okay. I go to school is having a subject and a predicate. A subject and a predicate. Every sentence has a subject and a predicate. So a subject means who does the work. So I is the subject. I is subject and predicate is go. Yes, subject predicate is go. One more sentence. We are writing. We are writing. Okay. So what is subject now? Who is doing? We are doing. That is our subject. And predicate is are. We are writing is our predicate. So predicate means what you are doing. That is our predicate. A subject who does it and predicate what they are doing. It shows the helping verb, even the verb also. Okay. So this is our subject and predicate. In a sentence, it has a subject and a predicate. One more sentence we are going to do now. Children are happy. Is it a meaningful sentence? Yes. Children are happy. So children is our, very good, it is our subject. Who are doing that? That is our subject and happy. Are happy is our predicate. Okay. In your book you have about your sentences. So before going to the sentence, we should know what is subject and what is predicate. Subject means who is doing it, that is our subject, and predicate is what we are doing, that is our predicate. Okay? Yes. So each sentence is having 3 parts. A sentence is having, there are kinds of sentences, those are 3 types. Okay? Yes. Take your notebook and copy this heading clauses. In that we have sentence. First one example, that is I go to school. The subject is I and the predicate is go. And the second sentence is we are writing. So subject is predicate. We is predicate subject and our writing is predicate. And the third one is children is subject and our happy are predicate. I'll give you 1 minute. Just copy it fast, neatly. Okay. Now open your reader, page number in. Gear up for grammar. Here we have gear up for grammar. Now we will go for clauses. Okay. There are three kinds of sentences. One is simple sentence. Simple sentence which is not having any conjunctions. Which doesn't have any conjunction in the sentence. Like conjunctions are on, in, because, but, although, even, so there are some conjunctions which doesn't include in simple sentences. Example, one sentence we are going to discuss here. We are reading. So here we is subject and our reading is predicate. So there is no any conjunction on, in, by, beside. So this type of conjunctions there is no any conjunctions. And they are happy, we are going, they are playing, she is writing. This type of sentences doesn't have any conjunctions in it. So this is our first sentence. And second sentence is compound sentence. Compound sentence. Where we have the conjunctions. Simple conjunctions on, in, at, on, before and all. Okay. Next we have the third one, complex. Okay. So there are three types of sentences: simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. Let us read about both and then we will discuss about the clauses. A group of words that has both subject and predicate is called a clause. Every sentence has at least one clause. Read the following sentence from the lesson. When I got home, I was relieved. So the sentence is, when I got home, I was relieved. So one remaining to just read in the book. When I got home, I was relieved to find my parents away at work. I was relieved to find what? My parents away at work. Okay. When I got home, I was relieved to find my parents away at work. So Sachin is telling that when I went home. So when he went home, what you ask? What happened? When you went home, what happened? There will be a question. So there will be question what happened, why and all. That types of sentences doesn't give complete meaning. One sentence which will not give a complete meaning, it is called dependent sentence. When the remaining sentence, I was relieved to find my parents away at work. Once again, I was relieved to find my parents away at work. This sentence gives a complete meaning. So this type of sentence we call independent clause. This type of sentence we call dependent clause. A sentence which doesn't give a complete meaning is called dependent clause, complete meaning is called independent sentence, independent clause. Okay? Yes, in your book also they have given this sentence has two clauses. Just see here, this sentence has two clauses. When I got home, it does not express a complete thought. I was relieved to find my parents away at work. It expresses a complete thought. This clause that expresses complete thought is called independent or main clause. It can form stand-alone sentence. For example, I love reading books. I love reading books give you complete meaning. We enjoyed the match thoroughly. This also gives complete meaning. Next we have a clause that does not express a complete thought and depends on another clause in the sentence is called dependent or subordinate clause. Subordinate means which supports the sentence is called subordinate clause. It cannot form a stand-alone sentence. For example, when we saw him at the bus stop. When we saw him at the bus stop, since it was running away. So here he is using since it was running away, raining today. That means it doesn't give a complete meaning for us. We think what happened? When we saw him at the bus stop, what happened? So the question arises there. In the next page, we have a sentence can also have two main clauses connected using a comma and a coordinating conjunctions. So there are coordinating conjunctions. Which are the coordinating conjunctions? Okay. So here they are for, and, but, or, yet, and so. Totally, we say it as fan boys. When we have fan boys, they are called as coordinated conjunctions. For, F, A, and N, not. Sorry, here we have not. F, A, N, B, O, Y, S. So that is a short form to remember fanboys. That is coordinating conjunctions. These words support the sentence to give a complete meaning. Let us see here one sentence. I will go home. Here we have I will go home and my brother will go to school. So here I will go home is a full complete meaning. My brother will go to school. This is also complete meaning, but we are using and here. Those are called as coordinating clauses. Ria likes roses, but John likes lilies. Both are complete meaning sentences, but we are using them between to make two sentences as a single sentence. Okay. Now let us go for the exercise. Since I don't have money, I will not shop today. What to do this? Okay. One clause has been underlined in each sentence. Write M if it is the main clause, if it is subordinate clause, or C if it is the coordinate clause. You have a book, open it and we will do it now. Okay? Yes.